of you have been in China, Pakistan in China is big, not like our Pakistan in KL. They are bigger, and I think the range of products is higher end. So we have 10% investment holding in Pakistan China listed in Hong Kong. So we thought that if we can do something about it, it would be interesting. It's about recreation of Silk Road. Why? It's about bringing investors from Middle East. You know, those days, you know, Silk Road, from Middle investors, the Muslims come to Malacca, now through KL, and have activities in China. So we felt good about it. You know, we can create a story about this, recreation of Silk Road. So we identified Pakistan as our stock. And then we went through the screening, and it qualified. Though it sells a bit of non-China compliant products, but it's very small, negligible, within the threshold of 5%. So with that, we managed to structure Sukuk for this. Somehow, because our holding is only 10%, we cannot do too big a size. Of course, expectation for investors, you know, from 750 million, 850 million, that's that bigger. But we cannot offer bigger because we only have 10% of Pakistan shares. So we managed to do 550 million. This time around, we said we have done enough education to the Middle East investors. So this time around, we said, okay, we will do a roadshow, but only one day roadshow. And then when we open the books, we will not wait for anyone. We'll just do opening after the market ends here in KL at 5. We'll open the books for a few hours. Once the books are filled, we will close. So, Alhamdulillah, it went very well. After we opened the book about 5:30 or so, by 8 it's full to the brim. So we close. And then allocation, we don't give any specific allocation to Middle East anymore. Who comes first, we give on that basis. So we did that. Alhamdulillah, you know, it went well. We received, you know, good comments from the investors, from Hong Kong Stock Exchange as well, from the authority, because Hong Kong was trying to promote Sukuk as well. The fact that we do Sukuk with the shares listed in Hong Kong, and then we listed our Sukuk in Hong Kong, you know, it makes them happy. It's some kind of promotion for them. But we don't forget our listing venue of Labuan, of course. So we listed, all our Sukuk listed in Labuan. Then we finished to 8. If you remember, August, September, November 2008, that's when the crisis came. Lehman Brothers issue. So, you know, global crisis. Stocks went down. So when it came to 2009, when we scanned through our portfolio, all not possible to do. You know, Tenaga stocks came down, Malaysia Airport stocks came down, you know, telecom. So it's not possible to do. We said, okay, perhaps we'll just wait and see how the market grows. At the same time, it was somewhere into 2009, the year that, you know, no potential deal. We set up a program, Sukuk multi-currency program under a company called Danga Capital. It's a multi-currency program, therefore you can issue Sukuk, straight Sukuk in any currency. So it's 10 billion program. So we get the program set up. To start off, we issue ringgit Sukuk. Perhaps here I want to say that for ringgit Sukuk I'm not discussing because it's very easy and nothing interesting because it's normal. Anyone else can do ringgit Sukuk, right? And, you know, any other company has been doing, telecom has been doing, Tenaga, but I thought let's focus on cross-border deals, on foreign currency. So in 2009, we did 1 or 2 ringgit sukuk just to cater for local investment requirements. Then came 2010. Our investment team, they were busy with a new sector called healthcare. They were doing acquisitions of healthcare assets. I don't know how many of you know, we own Pantai here, we own Glen Girls here. In 2010, they were buying Parkway hospitals in Singapore. They were fighting with Fortis Group of India. You know, healthcare is a good asset to have. We, at that time, we were holding about 30% of the Parkway Singapore. They held almost equal amount. We wanted to offer something called partial offer to go to 51%. To do that, of course, we need funding. So my colleague's investment came to me, Izani, we need Sing dollars. So, okay, that's convenient because we have the multi-currency program. How much do you need? About $800 million. Okay, it's fine. I mean, the size is okay. You know, something that's doable. But he said he wants it to be long tenure because it's strategic assets. Therefore, he wants to match the assets and liabilities. So, okay, it's fine. How long? It's 10. They said about 5-10 years old. That's long. I mean, for Sukuk. And as you know, in 2010, at that time, there is no Sukuk in Sing dollars yet. No one has done Sukuk Sing dollars before, and let alone to do Sukuk in 5 or 10 years. And then, during the fight with Fortis, suddenly the partial offer became full offer, which means we have to take 100% of the company. So the requirement came from 800 to $1.5 billion. So it's okay. Izani, my colleague investment say, we need 1.5. I said, what? 1.5 billion? And to raise within 4 or 5 months. That was about, April time. So okay, let's work it out. So I called the bankers. We called the bankers, said, okay, we have to do Sing dollar Sukuk up to 1.5 billion. And then they got shocked. What? Nobody has done it before. I mean, that size. I mean, and Sukuk some more. So I said, okay, never mind. Let me think through. So I called some of the investors in Singapore because we are familiar with insurance companies in Singapore, some funds in Singapore. So we called them up. Would you like to take Sukuk? They said, it's never done here. But I told them, Sukuk is a structure. However, the obligor is still Khazanah. It's Khazanah issuance. So if you're comfortable for Khazanah as an obligor, and you shouldn't worry about it, I can explain the Sukuk structure for you. So I made we had a quick roadshow to Singapore. We met some of the investors. After explaining to big insurance companies, to them it doesn't matter. It's an instrument. As long as they can match the insurance liabilities to these assets, they're fine. So we met the likes of AIA and a few others. And from the discussion, I felt that we can convince them. They can buy the Sukuk. So I came back and then we discussed internally. I think if we do enough marketing, enough education, even to Singapore investors, I think we can be able to do it. So we took the challenge. We said, okay, let's proceed with it. Before we proceed, internally we discussed, this may be sensitive. Because, why? You're doing Sing dollars. Those days, before now it's very, very friendly. Those days, Singapore, Malaysia is not as friendly. So, you know, Singapore was trying to develop as a center of Islamic finance as well. So, my boss, Sanchez Azman, said, Izani, you better check with Penegara what they say to this. So, I called the late Datuk Razif, if some of you may know. He was in charge of Islamic finance at Penegara. I called him. Okay, Datuk, we want to do Sukuk for Sing dollar. I wasn't aware that he wasn't well at that time. Those of you know that he was down with cancer, colon cancer. And mind you, when I called him, he was in Singapore hospital. He was in Mount E hospital having treatment. I didn't know until after that. Because when I called secretary, he said, oh, why don't you call his handphone? And I tell you, Datuk Razif is dear to us as well. He's very supportive in finance. He said, Izani, even to do, I'm fully supportive, because that's one way of promoting our product. I mean, even to do finance, you cannot do just within Malaysia. You have to go beyond Malaysian shores. I mean, don't just hear what people say. They say, some people who don't like the idea, they say, why must we teach Singaporeans to do Sukuk? I mean, I think that's a bit short-sighted way of thinking. You have to share if it's good. And if you grow beyond Singapore, beyond Hong Kong, and it can go global. So I'm glad that he is the same view as us. He said, by all means, please do. If you need any support from Penegara, let us know, he said. Okay, thank you, Dato'. I said, we'll do. So we came back, you know, we complete the structure. And another issue is the structuring. This one, I had to call MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, for this. As I said, sometimes you do this, when you do things, sometimes the challenges are there. So the structure that was approved by us, SC, it was Musyarakah. Under the Danga program, the 10 billion program, it's Musyarakah structure. So, when I spoke to MAS, they said, Musyarakah is not familiar to them. They haven't seen. And then, as I said, we are hard pressed for time. We need the money soon, because to cater for the payment for the hospitals, for the bid. So, I was asking, the name is Boon Leong of MAS. Boon Leong, what structure are you familiar? They said, we are quite advanced in considering wakala. Okay, in that case, we can consider.